Ever notice how some people seem completely unfazed, no matter what life throws their way? A bad day at work, disrespect, sudden chaos. They move through it all with quiet strength, barely blinking, as if nothing can knock them off center. Meanwhile, most of us get shaken by the most minor things: a strange text, a rude driver, a careless comment. And just like that, our mood unravels and our focus scatters. It's easy to believe we have no control, that we're just reacting, trapped inside circumstances we didn't choose. But here's the truth. You do have power. You just haven't learned how to claim it yet. The loss of control doesn't come from the event itself, but from the way your mind hands that event the steering wheel. The calm, unbothered people aren't born that way. They train for it. The ancient Stoics uncovered a hard truth most people never face. The world doesn't decide your peace. You do. The moment you stop letting every situation dictate your inner state, something shifts. You stop bleeding energy. You stop being pulled apart. You regain command of yourself. Welcome to Stoic Philosophy Daily, where ancient wisdom becomes your shield and your edge. This isn't motivation. It's mental training. Every lesson here is a tool for building an inner fortress that doesn't collapse when pressure hits. So if you're ready to stop being triggered, stop reacting on instinct, and start responding with clarity and strength, stay with me. Let's begin with the skill that changes everything. How to reclaim your peace, no matter what stands in front of you. 1. Your pain isn't the world, it's the story you attach. Here's the first real secret of the untouchable mind. What hurts you isn't what happens, it's what you decide it means. Most people live as if every word, glance, or moment of silence from the outside world has the power to shake their inner state. However, the Stoic understands something that most people never question. The pain is not in the event, it's in the story you attach to it. Imagine you're at the gym. Someone glances over and frowns. Instantly, your mind rushes to fill the gap with meaning. Are they judging me? Do I look ridiculous? Did I do something wrong? In seconds, a single look becomes a verdict on your worth. But what if their mind was elsewhere? What if their day was falling apart? What if you were never even part of their story at all? And yet, your emotions spiral, not because of them, but because of the meaning you assigned. This is what the Stoics saw with brutal clarity. As Epictetus said, it's not things that upset us, but our judgments about those things. We spend most of our lives reacting not to reality, but to the narrative we place on top of it. And the most dangerous part is this. Most people never pause to ask whether the story they're believing is even true. Try this. The next time something stings, a comment, a delay, a cold shoulder, stop for a moment. Ask yourself, what meaning am I giving this right now? Then go one step deeper. Is this really about me, or is this just a story I've practiced believing? That pause is where your power returns. The trigger weakens the moment the story is questioned. At Stoic Daily, we believe freedom begins the moment you reclaim the right to choose the meaning, not the moment the world changes. The world can poke, but only you decide if it hurts. The next time you feel triggered, pause and rewrite the story. Then share what changed for you below. 2. Your lens shapes your life. Most people believe they see the world as it is. The Stoic knows something uncomfortable but liberating. You don't see the world directly. You see it through the lens of your past. And when that lens is cracked by old wounds, heartbreak, rejection, or regret, reality gets distorted before it ever reaches your mind. A careless word, a strange look, a delayed reply, and your judgment leaps ahead of the facts, filling in gaps with familiar pain. Imagine walking through life holding a mirror in front of your face. The glass isn't broken, but it's fogged by memories you never fully processed. Every smile feels suspicious. Every silence feels personal. A friend cancels plans, and suddenly you're no longer in the present. You're back on the playground, picked last again. The emotion feels immediate and real, but its source is older than the moment before you. Epictetus said it plainly, it's not things that upset us, but our judgments about those things. And CarlJung warned, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. What hurts you most often isn't what's happening now, but what the present awakens from the past. The lens does the damage long before the event ever could. Most people never stop to question that lens. They react automatically, convinced their interpretation is the truth. But the moment you pause and ask, what story am I telling myself right now? Something shifts. Ask again, a little deeper. Is this about this moment, or is this old pain replaying itself? In that pause, choice returns. This is the Stoic practice. To challenge your own judgments before they harden into belief. Socrates called this the unexamined life, and the Stoics knew its cost. If you never question your inner stories, you live trapped. Every trigger, every mood swing, every unnecessary conflict becomes another loop in a program you never consciously chose. But you can rewrite the code. The next time you feel the urge to react, stop, breathe. Let the fog settle. Remind yourself that you are not at the mercy of the world, only of the meaning you assign to it. Clean the lens first, then decide what you see and what it means. At Stoic Daily, we believe true strength is built when you question your story instead of obeying it. The world is noisy, but your clarity is a choice. Today, notice one story you're telling yourself, challenge it, and share what you discover below. 3. Rewrite your emotional code. The world will keep poking, but only you decide what gets under your skin. That's the quiet truth most people never learn. You aren't powerless. Your reactions are simply running on an old program, a script written by past hurts, unexamined fears, and habits formed long ago. Most people live on autopilot. Something happens, and the brain labels it instantly. Before awareness even arrives, the reaction is already in motion. But what if you could pause, not for minutes, just for a breath? In that narrow space between what happens and how you respond, you could choose clarity instead of chaos. That space is small, but it's where freedom lives. Aristotle saw this with precision. Anyone can become angry. That is easy. But to be angry with the right person, to the right degree, at the right time, for the right purpose, and in the right way, that is not easy. The Stoic never aims to suppress emotion. They aim to master it, not by suppressing it, but by consciously deciding when emotion warrants a response and when it does not. The next time you feel a surge, anger, hurt, jealousy, pause before acting. Ask yourself, is this really about them, or is it touching something unresolved inside me? That single question interrupts the old script. It weakens the automatic pattern and opens a new path. In that moment, you stop being a puppet pulled by triggers and start becoming a calm center inside the storm. Plato wrote, "Reality is but a shadow of the truth." Most of what you feel in heated moments isn't the whole truth. It's your mind's version of events, shaped by memory, expectation, and habit. So, ask again, is this the full story, or just my interpretation? And if it's only a story, decide whether it still deserves your energy. The people who stay calm aren't cold. They're clear. They've trained themselves to pause, to question the old code before it runs. Each time you stop an automatic reaction, you create space inside yourself. That space becomes steadiness. That steadiness becomes strength. And over time, that strength turns into a quiet power that doesn't need to explain or prove itself to anyone. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being aware. Every pause instead of explosion, every moment you challenge the story instead of swallowing it whole, is a small victory. That's how you move from puppet to master, one pause at a time. At Stoic Daily, we believe every pause is a vote for your power. Master the pause, and you master your mind. The next time you feel triggered, ask yourself, what inside me is allowing this to affect me? Then share what you discover below. 4. The Programming of Reactivity. From the moment you were old enough to understand words, the world began programming you. Sometimes gently, through praise and reward. More often, through pressure. School, parents, media, culture. All of it quietly trained you to chase approval, to measure your worth by applause and attention, to believe fitting in matters more than inner peace. Over time, this conditioning becomes invisible. You don't question it. You live inside it. Most people never see the programming. They're just swimming in it. Social media doesn't reward clarity or calm. It rewards reaction, outrage, comparison, urgency. You scroll, you compare, you feel behind, and while you feel restless or inadequate, the system profits. Every headline, every trend, every urgent notification is a slight tug on your nervous system, pulling you into someone else's agenda instead of your own center. Marcus Aurelius warned, "The opinion of 10,000 men is of no value if none of them know anything about the subject." And yet we chase those opinions as if they define us. The game runs deeper than attention. Entire industries are built on selling you a problem, then selling you the cure. You're too old, too young, too slow, too loud. The message is always the same. You're not enough unless you buy more, chase more, or prove more. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Your emotional reactivity isn't just a personal weakness. It's a business model. The more easily triggered you are, the more predictable you become, and predictability is profitable. CarlJung saw through this distraction when he said, "People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls." Reacting keeps you busy. Pausing forces you to confront yourself. And it isn't only strangers. Sometimes, the people closest to you learn your buttons better than anyone. If someone knows how to provoke you, they know how to steer you. Toxic dynamics survive on your explosions, your self-doubt, your panic. The more reactive you are, the easier it is for others to manipulate you. Plato warned, "The measure of a man is what he does with power." And the first power to reclaim is over your own reactions. This is the Stoic practice. Unplug the remote. When you pause, when you refuse to react on command, you step out of the script. You stop performing for the world and begin hearing your own voice again. Clarity returns the moment reaction loosens its grip. At Stoic Daily, we believe the most incredible freedom is owning your reactions, not renting them out to the world. The world profits when you react. Take your power back by pressing pause. This week, take note of who pushes your buttons. Practice unplugging the remote and share what you discover below. 5. The Power of Unplugging. Some people will always try to push your buttons, sometimes intentionally, sometimes without even realizing it. However, the pattern remains the same. Every time you explode, panic, or spiral, you hand them the remote to your mind. That's not just vulnerability, that's a leash, and it keeps you tied to someone else's behavior. Imagine walking through life with a giant control panel strapped to your chest. Each button is clearly labeled: insecurity, anger, fear, guilt. Most people walk around with that panel fully exposed. Anyone can reach out and press a button, and a reaction fires instantly. This is why toxic dynamics thrive. The easier you are to provoke, the easier you are to control. But here's the shift. Unplug the control panel. Picture someone insulting you, testing you, trying to provoke a response, and you don't react. No explanation, no defense, no inner spiral. That isn't being cold. That's power reclaimed. Calm doesn't mean you don't feel. It means you don't obey every impulse to respond. Socrates said, "He who is not a good servant will not be a good master." If you can't manage your own emotions, someone else always will. When you unplug from the need to react, something subtle changes. You stop rereading messages. You stop taking every tone personally. You stop letting moments linger longer than they deserve. You become steady, not numb. Grounded, not distant. Like a rock in a storm, still present, but no longer shaken. Some people will call this coldness. Let them. What they mistake for indifference is actually discipline. It's the choice to stop handing out your peace of mind like free samples. Aristotle taught, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. When you're anchored in that self-knowledge, other people's noise loses its grip. Their chaos no longer gets to borrow your nervous system. You're not heartless for not reacting. You're not rude for guarding your energy. You're done letting others play inside your inner world. In a culture addicted to outrage and chaos, this calm feels unnatural. That's because it is rare. The world benefits when you stay reactive. The cycle keeps spinning. But the moment you stop giving away your reactions, you break the loop. At Stoic Daily, we believe that discipline is about choosing what deserves your energy and refusing to spend it on distractions. Real strength is saying, "My mind is not your playground." This week, unplug from one emotional trigger. Notice what changes inside and around you, and share your insight below. 6. True detachment. Calm is your superpower. Some people think staying calm means you're cold, distant, or uncaring. But the Stoic understands something deeper. Real detachment isn't about caring less. It's about caring correctly. The world prefers you impulsive, triggered, and reactive because reaction is easy to steer. But every time you choose to observe instead of absorb, you quietly take your power back. Picture yourself as a strong tree in heavy wind. Noise, opinions, and drama rush past, but your roots hold. You don't resist the storm with tension. You don't chase it either. You remain grounded. The old version of you would walk into tense rooms and absorb every emotion in the air. The new you notices the tension, registers it, and lets it pass through without lodging inside. You see clearly, but you do not carry what isn't yours. This is what the Stoics meant by apatheia. Not apathy, not indifference, but a deep inner calm where your inner state is no longer hijacked by external chaos. CarlJung captured this truth when he said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. When something provokes you, it often isn't about the moment itself. It's a mirror reflecting something unresolved, projected outward instead of understood inward. The practice is mastering the pause. When someone throws shade or invites drama, don't rush to respond. Breathe, hold the silence. That moment of restraint is not weakness, it's freedom. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. That power lives in the pause. Drama survives on attention, gossip withers without reaction. Arguments only explode if you keep lighting the fuse. When you stop feeding the fire, the chaos loses oxygen. And something surprising happens. Your nervous system settles. Your thoughts slow. Your presence becomes heavier, steadier, and more complex to shake. True detachment means allowing the world to move around you, not through you. It's knowing your peace is too valuable to be handed out on impulse. You are not here to be dragged into every emotional fire. You are here to walk through heat without being burned. At Stoic Daily, we believe calmness is not a sign of weakness. It is mastery in its highest form. Not every storm deserves your roots. Protect your peace and let the noise pass. This week, practice observing without absorbing. Notice the changes that occur within you. and share your experience below. 7. Tranquility, the quiet victory. Stoicism doesn't ask you to ignore life, it asks you to master your response to it. True power isn't found in denying reality or shutting down your heart. It lives in a quieter place, that invisible shift where you stop letting everything reach inside and disturb you. There's no announcement, no applause, just a subtle relief, like breathing clean air after years of suffocation. This isn't about becoming careless or cold-hearted. It's a wise, measured, deeply freeing way of being. You stop handing out pieces of yourself to situations and people that never deserved them. And something unexpected happens. The world starts to respond differently. Those who once poked at your insecurities pull back. Comments that used to echo in your head lose their grip. The constant mental tug-of-war with people, problems, and old regrets begins to loosen. You start to see how much of your suffering was self-made. How many battles were shadows you kept fighting out of habit? Most of what once consumed your energy was never as solid as it felt. It wasn't the event, it was your reaction, your story, your attachment. Without that reaction, life feels lighter, not empty, but clear. This is the quiet strength of emotional stillness. Nothing dramatic changes on the outside, yet everything feels different on the inside. The Stoics believed tranquility was the highest good. Marcus Aurelius put it plainly. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The moment you stop reacting to everything, the world loses its grip on your emotions. That's when real strength appears. Not loud, not forceful, but steady, grounded, and unmoved. Of course, this isn't easy. Most of us were trained from childhood to react. Stress means panic. Criticism means defense. Failure means spiraling. Your mind runs these old scripts automatically. But what if you rewrote the code? What if, when stress hits, you pause and breathe instead of scrambling? When criticism lands, you don't rush to explain or defend. You smile. Not because you don't care, but because the reaction no longer owns you. At Stoic Daily, we believe emotional stillness is the quiet revolution. It's the real flex, the kind you never need to prove. When you master your response, the world loses its power over you. This week, practice the pause. Let one trigger pass without reacting. Notice the shift and share your experience below. 8. Master your story. Reprogram, reframe, and rise. Most of us move through life running scripts we never consciously chose, programmed to panic under pressure, to defend when criticized, to spiral when things don't go our way. Life presses the same buttons, and without realizing it, we replay the same scenes again and again. Not because we want to, but because the script feels familiar. But here's the quiet revolution. You can rewrite the code. Every time you pause, breathe, and choose presence over panic, you are teaching your nervous system a new pattern. At first, it feels unnatural. Then it becomes easier. Over time, calm stops being something you force. It becomes something you cultivate. It becomes your baseline, your default state. CarlJung warned us, the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. But when you do, criticism loses its edge. Why? Because you are no longer trying to perform for approval or escape who you are. Reprogramming your reactions isn't numbness, it's freedom. Each time you choose clarity over chaos, you lay down a new pathway. Slowly, your mind learns a different rule. We don't panic anymore. We don't do drama. We choose presence. Here's the deeper layer. Every emotion is tied to a story. Victims carry pain, villains carry shame, but heroes own their narrative. Plato taught, the first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself. When you change the frame, setbacks stop feeling like punishments and start revealing themselves as turning points. An insult becomes fuel. A hard moment becomes training. The story shifts, and with it, your power returns. So the next time something triggers you, stop and ask, what story am I telling myself right now? Then ask again, what frame am I choosing? You can't control every fact, but you always control the meaning you assign. That choice decides whether you shrink or rise. There's an even sharper form of strength, disarming without force, responding to insults with calm, meeting noise with presence. A quiet line, like "I like my peace" or "I'm focused on being better than yesterday," can turn aggression into emptiness. As Socrates hinted, if you never train your mind, you live your whole life without knowing its strength. Stop fighting battles that don't matter. Stop explaining yourself to people who have already made up their minds about who you are. Stop handing your peace to every storm. When you live this way, you walk into rooms with presence instead of pressure. You become the calm in the storm, not because you don't care, but because you have finally learned what deserves your care. At Stoic Daily, we believe mastery isn't coldness. It's the clarity and calm you earn by rewriting your story one breath at a time. Rewrite your code. Choose your frame. Become calm. This week, question one old story, choose a new frame, and share what shifted for you below. The quiet power no one can take from you. One day, you'll look back and realize something quietly powerful. You didn't just survive life. You learned how to meet it on your own terms. The storms didn't break you. The noise couldn't move you. And the world didn't make you colder. It made you clearer, calmer, and stronger inside. That's the kind of power no one can take from you. It doesn't depend on approval, control, or perfect conditions. Once you experience it, you understand something most never do. Peace isn't fragile, it's trained, and once it's yours, you'll never want to live any other way. If this lesson resonated with you, continue on this path. There's another layer waiting for you. Click the following video and go deeper. Remember this: every pause you practice, every story you rewrite, every moment you choose, calm over reaction becomes another brick in the fortress of your mind. Thank you for thinking deeper, for choosing clarity instead of noise, for building this journey with us, one conscious moment at a time. At Stoic Philosophy Daily, we believe real strength isn't loud, it's presence. Stay grounded. Keep walking the quiet path. If you're seeking more, discover the full path on my channel, Stoic Philosophy Daily.